it was the first competition that I'd actually ever done, despite the fact I'd been shooting for years. I wasn't actually a novice by that point, even though I still shoot like a novice. But it was one of those things. It's like, Nye, I've just had an idea. We talk far too much. Welcome to a different kind of archery podcast. We're all about the real stories, practical tips, and the shared passion for this timeless sport. Join us for insightful conversations with archers, experts, and enthusiasts from all walks of life. From hitting the golds to the pursuit of personal growth through archery, we've got it all. So get ready to knock your arrow and take aim at a world of archery knowledge. This is Unstrung Archery.
Welcome to Unstrung Archery. I am Manisha of the Archery Parent Podcast, and I have the great honor of hosting today's episode in lieu of Nye and Neil. And what we're going to do today is have a year in review, and this will allow you as the audience to get to know your hosts just a little bit better. Hello, Nye and Neil. How are you today?
Hi, Manisha.
Hey,
Thanks
Manisha.
for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And things are good so far.
Great. So we're going to start off. For those of you who are not familiar with the podcast, the first two episodes actually are a little bit of a biography for each of you. And we're going to just go into the show a little bit more so that people get to know a little bit about why the show exists, where it's going, and everything in between. So we will start off with, what has been your most memorable episode thus far?
So I really enjoyed working with Evie, Sarah, and Patience. That episode, as difficult as it was to get through the recording because they were just giggling amongst themselves the whole time. I think that was a really good episode. Really got to see like the in depth and behind the scenes of international competition from people that were very, very young as well. So just seeing it from their point of view. I'm on the sideline normally as a judge, and don't really get to sense that kind of thing. So that was a fantastic episode for me. Behave you.
And what was your favorite or most memorable episode so far? And there have been 17, correct? Up to this point.
Yeah, so we've had 15 and a couple of bonus episodes as well, yeah.
So 17 altogether.
I think for me it's got to be when we actually went up to, when I went up to Ayrshire for the third stage of the junior archery series, because it was, well, my granddad on my dad's side was a Glaswegian, so Scotsman, and I've never been to Scotland, so it was nice to put that right, visit the country where my family was from. Excuse me. But then also, it was the Saturday, which was the actual event. It was great to walk along the whole line, watching all these high-level young archers, just be able to shoot, just being treated to some great matches while we were there. And so that would be one. So that was when I was there. I was doing field recording, so just actually being able to go and capture those moments of how the kids were feeling was make it real special for me as well.
Yeah, it was the first time we actually got him out in the field as well, so that was an experience in itself.
It was definitely hard to learn on the go as well. So it was fun to be able to do.
Would you consider that one of your more, not only just memorable, but challenging experiences in the podcast so far?
I think for me it was, because as Neil will testify, I'm the resident technophobe. So actually, will the recordings work? Won't they work? Will we actually be able to use them as well? And so all that was sort of all things that we weren't sure about. So I was just going around with my phone. It was just I'd be there and we'd be chatting away and just hold the phone like that. So it was very sort of. So a lot of it was very sort of, it was an experience, should we say, but I'm really glad we did it, and I'd be more than happy to go back and do any field episodes again like that.
Neil, did you want to add to that? Any of the challenging moments?
I think challenging. I'm going to go for the same one. Not being there at the time and knowing what the conversations are, and then having to kind of like ad lib on top of that. It was quite a challenging way to do a podcast episode. Obviously, I tried to make it so that it was like I was talking to the archers as well, or responding to what comments they were saying. So yeah, I think if we're going to do that kind of thing again, we both have to go and both have to be there and have the conversations with the archers. I think it'd make for a more wholesome kind of episode that way as well.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. What was the catalyst for this podcast? What sparked the idea, and what made you actually think, okay, let's go ahead and continue down the road? Because putting a podcast together is quite a journey. And what made you just go with it?
I think mostly it was down to Neil, because I remember we started talking. A backstory for how we met was when I was running our American shoot back in, 2022 or so?
Back
in 22 when it was my first shoot that we'd been roasted all over our social media. And me and Neil just get talking over Messenger, and we hit it off. We sort of hit it off. And I think we hardly met. I think it's only then it all came about the Ashton novice shoot, which will probably be the part where I hand over to you, Neil. But pretty much only the second time we've met in person, and even then, the time before was equipment inspection. So I'm like, yeah, that's good. Now you're good to go. Good to go and shoot like that. But only second time we'd sat down and met him physically as well.
Yeah, so it was the novice shoot. I believe that novice shoot that we actually got talking about the podcast, I was actually shooting as well. I wasn't a judge that time. It was the first competition that I'd actually ever done, despite the fact I'd been shooting for years. I wasn't actually a novice by that point, even though I still shoot like a novice. But it was one of those things. I was like, Nye, I've just had an idea. We talk far too much. And then I was like, we should make a podcast.
There you go.
It stemmed from that. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. And he's like, I have no idea how to do that. I was like, leave it with me. And then literally the month after is when we started.
And what has the evolution been since then? So you said, all right, let's do this. We talk a lot. Let's do this. What has the evolution been through those 17 episodes?
Well, the quality has kind of got better from the start. We kind of just recorded the first one and went with it. And then obviously we started putting all the bells and whistles on it. And I think then the podcast became much more than just us talking. We wanted to get out there and support, grassroots archery. So people that are involved with grassroots, maybe they've just started their archery career, or that, they've been shooting for years. We wanted to get people from all sides of that to come and talk on the show, and just make archery. Obviously, I'm an ambassador for Archery GB, so my main goal is obviously getting the word of archery out there, but making it so it's not as daunting as well. So we've got, obviously, from the likes of Steph Prober and Sarah Hubbard, that these guys hold world records, and that could be quite intimidating to some people. And just bringing them on the show and showing people that they are just normal people that just happen to have a world record, and they have these same issues that we do when we go and shoot on the line. They have the bad days, that and just getting that out in front of everybody. And then on the flip side of that, looking to the younger ones that may only just be getting into their national kind of competitions. We have got a couple of guests lined up actually that have just started their national tour kind of thing. So yeah, that was part of the goal, was just to make it so everybody can enjoy archery and they can see through the podcast that you don't have to be Robin Hood and that good to be able to get into archery and enjoy it.
Yeah, when you meet these sort of well, people like Sarah Hubbard, who are big names, and you see them on the social media, that, yeah, Sarah's just a normal lass that you'd happily, they'll sit down and have a chat with you as well. That not sort of like someone seems to be seen as someone scary as well.
So you started releasing your episodes in July of 2023. Since then, you've built your audience. Has there been any unexpected conversations or anything unexpected that has come from the audience listening that has surprised you, made you feel like you were on the right track, or anything like that?
I think for me it was when Alistair Shields from West of Scotland came up to me. We'd been at one of the shoots at Penrith, so I travel up, he travels down, and he says, "Hey, now we've got." This was a couple of weeks before the podcast was due out as well, and he says, "It might have even been the week before we were due to release an episode." And he just says to me, "Oh, Nye, look, we've got, it's the first time that this junior series has been held outside of England. So we'd like to, would you want to work together to do an episode?" So it was like, yeah, sure, it'd be really good to get involved with. And so that was sort of quite a surprise at the end of a long day. We sort of within, what was it, Neil, about a week or so, within a few days, we'd sort of, yeah, he'd approached me the Sunday. We recorded midweek, and then by the Sunday after the episode was out, just because it was sort of, we want to promote this as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And that was episode 8. That's how episode 8 came into being. And since then, just want to say a big thank you to Alistair, West of Scotland, and Scottish Archery, because they've been really good in supporting us and promoting us through their channels.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Nye on that one. That just basically getting a major governing body for archery to just pick you up and go, "Here we go." It was quite a shock. It was quite a shock. We've got sort of the region and the national bodies both supporting us. It's really appreciated the support they give us.
And have you noticed a changing of trends or anything exciting that you wanted to share about the archery community on your side of the pond?
We seem to be getting back to, we do seem to now be getting back to what competition was like pre-pandemic over here, where shoots are quite well, as in numbers of people going to shoots and enjoying them as well. Because, yeah, we've finally got a lot of shoots. So, as we're coming out of lockdown, I don't know what you experienced your side of the pond, Manisha, but a lot of shoots people weren't confident attending them because of COVID transmission. So you often got shoots cancelled for a couple of years on the spin because of maybe not feeling comfortable to attend. But whereas now we start to be seeing people getting back out again, and actually, yeah, we're seeing really good attendances again.
That's good.
And I don't know about yourself, Neil, what you've been seeing.
I think it's much in the same. You know, I came into archery just after COVID. So for me, going on that line and seeing the lack of participation and whatnot because of COVID was quite disheartening at first. But seeing the last year and a half, it's really started to pick back up. And then you talk to the people that have been doing it like now for most of their life, and it's like, yeah, no, this is like what it used to be like, which is great to see, because, you know, it was a bit disheartening when a lot of competitions were getting cancelled, or you turn up and there was only like 10 people there, and that's not what archery is about. You know, we can pack a line out quite easily, and that's the enjoyment. You know, the enjoyment comes from having so many people there that get on so well and are just shooting together.
Don't know what it's like down. Don't know what it's like for you guys. For Neil, for yourself in Lancashire, and for you, Manisha, in Canada. But a lot of the Cumbrian shoots that I go to, we get quite a similar sort of crowd going to all the different shoots. So Keswick might host one. I host one at Morecambe. We go to Kendal or to Penrith. But it's sort of like the same. You see the same people week after week. It becomes almost like a club away from the club as well. So whereas it might be, right, I shoot with Manisha at my home club. Right, I'm off to a tournament. I'll shoot with Neil. Like that. So that community feel seems to be getting stronger as well.
Yeah,
good,
definitely. And we do like sending the horde of Wigan and Norwell archers up to Morecambe Bay for the American shoot. I think we're the second biggest club there at the minute.
Yeah, you're bigger than us. There's only 3 of us shooting last year.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, and for any of Manisha's listeners, we don't actually shoot Americans. We just shoot.
When Nye and I were talking, I told him so my son is an archer with the Canadian national team, and he has been in archery since 2014. And I have never, ever heard the term American round. So Nye had to explain it to me. We do have something very similar. We call it either a T2S, which is train to shoot, or a 900 round. We have different names for it. But when I heard American round, I thought, okay, I think I need an explanation on this.
It'd be interesting to. I know we've briefly discussed it, Manisha, but it would be interesting for us to sort of compare archery from different countries, the sort of shoots we have over here, the sort of shoots you guys have as well.
It would be. It would be.
And I know for me, I like to book random rounds out and shoot them on the club night just to give myself something slightly different, a slightly different way of testing myself.
Yeah, it's one of those. When I started archery, everybody only shot one round, and it got a bit monotonous. And so, yeah, it is great that people can get out there and start pushing the other lesser known rounds. I think we could do with sharing some of our rounds, and maybe we shoot some of the Canadian rounds.
Right. In Canada, it's very common for, say, target archery to be double 720s over the course of a weekend. So you'll actually get 4 scores. You'll do 2 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday. And it's quite an effort in endurance, if you will. And which is very different. Quite a few Americans will come up just for the sake to get that experience. And what threw us the first few times that we went down into the US was they only shoot 1 720 per day if it's a tournament. So it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of easier. Mind you, the competition breadth was quite significant compared to a lot of the shoots in Canada. But going from a weekend of 4 720s to 2 was very, very different. And it was amazing to see how much extra time we had in the day rather than a long 8-9 hour day.
Yeah.
I was like, 3-4 hours.
Yeah, we do a 720 and then a head-to-head format afterwards at our club. I don't think we've got the patience to do 4 720s.
I was just going to say that the closest we come up in Cumbria, we have the Jim Skivington shoot. So, yeah, sadly we lost Jim before just before COVID. Sadly never got the chance to know him too well. But so we dedicated this Vita World Archery weekend in this tribute to him. But it's a double 720 on the Saturday and a 720 in head-to-head on the Sunday. And I could only make the second day this year, but going up for it, just seeing everyone who shot the day before, you could tell that doing that second shoot was taking it from them. He still kicked my backside, mind, but you could see that it's sort of, so I can only imagine double 720.
It is it's great to get that match play. And there are very infrequent weekends where we will do a double 720 on the Saturday and then a ranking round on the Saturday with the match play. It is so important to get that match play in because it is such a rarity and it is such an important part of archery that has really been undervalued for a long time. So it's good that the match play is getting back in there. So let's talk about the strategy and behind the scenes. How do you decide what your topic are going to be? How do you decide who you're going to speak with? And all those little behind the scene tasks that go into a podcast. And Neil, we'll start with you this time.
So usually we kind of do it last minute. It's like, oh, we want to get this person on this week. And then it's like, you know what, get in touch with them. Let's get them on. And literally we just pull the questions out of thin air most of the time. And it'll be a case of I'll be recording. I'll have like one or two questions lined up. And as the interview's going on, I'll be typing more questions and then just send them to Nye, go, Nye, ask this question. so he's got something to do.
And yeah, it's similar with yourself. It's sort of, we pick up, it might, so like with, when we had Martin on for our previous episodes, Martin's also a boss at the shop. So things like clouds, it's been a case of people I've brought on. It sort of, it might have been based off of a conversation I'd had with them, and then said to Neil, "Oh, it'd be good if we want to talk about, say, we might have said we want to talk about clouds." So I said, "Oh, we'll call Martin on. We'll get him to talk about cloud with us." But we might have had sort of a rough idea what we're going to talk about beforehand. But yeah, usually sort of planning it. Yeah, it'd be good to talk about that. Oh, I know someone. So I might say, oh, we should talk about, let's just say it was Europeans with PE and Sarah. Neil might say, yeah, I'll get that. I'll get the people on to talk about that.
And what have you learned about the whole podcasting process? Neil said that, just leave it with me. And now you were like, oh, I have no idea. Collectively, what have you learned about podcasting?
He just shows up.
Yeah, I've learned that when it comes to the nitty gritty of all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, it's like, don't get in Neil's way. Trust him. He knows what he's doing. Trust him to do the job, and he does a good job of it as well. So it's like, look, Neil does the best, and yeah, with my technology, he does a brilliant job looking after me. So it's, yeah, trust Neil to do it properly.
Neil, did you want to share?
He's a nightmare.
Truth is coming out now.
Yes. The amount of times that I've had an episode set up, ready to go, and he's come on, he's had internet problems, he can't remember his password for Discord. He's just, we spend the first 20 minutes of most episodes just waiting for Nye to get his backside into gear.
I'm recording this one off my phone as opposed to the 13-year-old laptop today. So I thought,
well, today,
because he needs a new microphone.
Today it was my fault because I could not get my headphones to work. So I'll take the blame for this one, Nye. How did you come up with the name for the podcast?
I had a look through our previous conversation history, Neil, and I think it's just we were just sort of throwing ideas back and forth, like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then sort of out of nowhere, just bang, Unstrung Archery seemed to come. And then it's sort of, oh, I like this idea. Yeah, I like that too. Let's go with it. That seems to be my recollection of it, unless you recall differently.
Yeah, I may not have discussed this with you, Nye, but I think my whole idea of Unstrung, when it was suggested, was thinking of how, you've done a shoot, you take down your bow, you're unstringing your bow, and then you just go off and socialize with everyone once you're all done. I think that's where it stemmed from, the initial idea. And then I was like, unstringing podcast, no. And then we came up together with Unstrung Archery. And then it was like, there you go. That's the winner.
I see it as yeah. I see it as the everything else under this, because you've strung your bow, and that's sort of the tautness of archery in general. But the unstrung archery is all the other stuff. The camaraderie, the society that you've created, the community, the advice, the tips, the connection. So that's how I saw the name Unstrung Archery.
Yeah.
There you go, branding. There you go. And so let's talk about your audience a little bit. So you've had an audience that's been building over the past year, well, a little bit more than a year. Have you had any great comments, feedback? Have they shared input that has changed the direction a little bit? How involved do you get with your audience and listeners, and how engaged are they with you? And has anything surprising come out of that?
I think,
Neil?
Yeah, it tends to be more on the field though. As opposed to online. You know, you get passing comments when they realize who you are. You know, obviously, most competitions I'm seeing people have a job to do because, you know, I'm judging. But, you know, when they grab me at lunch or something like that and they'll come over, oh, yeah, by the way, I really like this episode. And you just kind of, it snowballs from there. You get into a conversation about that. And then they'll be like, oh, can you get such and such a body on? And there's been quite a few people that have asked for some big names. And I'm like, well, I don't think we're quite there yet. But yeah. There's definitely some really good feedback that we get from people.
Any big names we can mention to say, look, our listeners want you to come on?
You know what I found is, because I have been to the Lancaster Classic in Pennsylvania in the US and the Vegas shoot in Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. What I found was the media pass gives you this sense of, I can just talk to anybody and they will talk back to you and in a good way, positively, and it's almost like it warms the conversation when they see you with a media pass and they're willing to chat, which is really nice.
We need media passes. That's what we need. We don't have media passes over here.
Let's make it.
I'll have to do that for Kings. I'm off to Kings next weekend, so I'll have to try and see if I can get hold of one.
Yeah, good man.
If anyone at Kings listening can send me details of how to get one, I'd happily fill them out as well. Nudge.
Now, part of your podcast has been an episode on neurodiversity, and a lot of storytelling. It makes up a big part of the podcast and almost every episode. How do you balance storytelling and not sharing too much? How do you focus on the balance between sharing your story and still focusing on archery?
I think that comes from my editing skills. Because some of these episodes do go on for quite a while and I have to cut a lot out where either me or Nye's oversharing and it's like, nah, they don't actually need to know that bit. So yeah, I think a lot of it does come from us learning as we're going on what people are enjoying listening to and just trying to dial back a little bit on, you know, the more personal stuff. And obviously pushing a little bit more on to whatever guest that we've got on to tell us their experiences and make that more of the focus than what we did. I think the neurodiversity episode came out because it was the neurodiversity month. I think we did that one for. Yeah. So I think obviously because both Nye and I are both, that's really a mouthful to say. Both Nye and me, I know that's not the correct grammar. Both of us are neurodivergent, so we do tend to go on a little bit and go off the rails a little bit in some of the episodes where we do need to kind of like edit that bit out and wind our necks in a little bit.
That's an understatement.
I was being polite.
Moving forward, so this episode is supposed to come out November 3rd. What can your audience expect from the year going forward? So into 2025, you do release the episodes monthly. What can they expect from Unstrung Archery?
We have got
chaos.
Yes, chaos. But we've lined up at the minute. We've got a couple of ambassadors from Archery GB lined up. We just need to kind of like solidify the details there. We've got two very young, lovely ladies that are going to be coming on the show at some point. One of them is one of our ambassadors as well for Unstrung Archery. So beyond that, who knows?
If only we knew someone in Canada who could offer us the parental perspective, Neil. I mean, it'd be funny if we knew someone who could fit the bill there.
Who could be? Who could that be?
Yeah, so hopefully we can continue. Hopefully, Manisha, we haven't put you off completely, and we'll get you in with us we can keep working with you in the year to come as well.
Well, yeah, hopefully that would be great. Tell me something that has happened, was there anything that happened, especially, Nye, I'm going to pick on you because being the technophobe here, has anything ever happened during an episode where you just winced or cringed because it didn't quite work out, or you wished you could just redo something? Because podcasting can be an unexpected joy with its own little personality traits. I'll say that. As a podcaster, I'm learning a ton of things that you can never expect things to go perfectly. Nye, do you have any stories that you can share about that?
Oh, yeah, I think for me, it has to go back to when we brought Alistair on for February's episodes. So he'd come to us, obviously, as you said before, he'd come to us on the Sunday. We'd meet midweek to do the episode, to go on to Neil producing it. Neil and Alistair, I don't think you two haven't met, but you two haven't spoken by this point, if I remember rightly.
No.
So
no.
I log on, I just about get home from swimming, like ding, ding, ding. Right, I'm in, boys, and then having a bit of chat, trying to get Neil and Alistair to know each other a bit. As soon as we hit now recording, my internet goes on me completely. So unfortunately, me and Alistair spoke afterwards, and I think all three of us got thrown off our game with that episode. So if I could go back, let's just say I could get a TARDIS and re-record one episode, I think that would be the one I'd go for, because I'd want to set that episode up in such a way that all three of us could bring our A game and give Alistair better support for getting his message across as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one. And possibly this episode as well, where we just had somebody like about 60 of our photos, and it's just completely thrown me off my game.
Yeah.
Because it's just going, and I saw Nye on the video camera there going like this, trying to get rid of them.
Sorry, what's happening? On your phone, or someone is liking something on social media? And it's distracting you?
Someone's liked a load of our photos on Instagram. So thank you, Welsh Archer, whoever you are.
Paul Davis, Welsh Archer, thank you, sir.
Yes, it is.
Do you know, Paul?
Podcasting has a mind of its own. You never know what's going to happen. In that light, has something ever happened to you and you've just shaken your head and said, why am I doing this? Has there ever been a moment where, good or bad, but, why am I doing this? How did I get sucked into this? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Every time I turn up to a recording.
Yeah, when he can't remember his password. I've got a really nice guest lined up, and I'm having to entertain them for 20 minutes while Nye's trying to figure out how to turn his phone on.
And then it's when it's one of my guests I've invited on that Neil's never met before, he's having to get to know them without me introducing them.
Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned a few big names that you're hoping to get on. If you can you share if there could be any dream guest, who would it be?
That's an easy one for me. As a compound archer, it has to be Ella Gibson.
Yes. Oh, Ella Gibson, actually, she did a video for the Archery Parent Podcast. It's on our Instagram. She answered the question, what do archery parents need to know to best support their archer? And she had a great answer. So I have Ella Gibson.
I am jealous.
Neil, you're going back. You're as green as your headphones, mate.
She was at the Lancaster Classic, as were myself and my son, Reese. And she very graciously took a few minutes to answer the question and was wonderful.
And
she is. She's fabulous.
And talking of Lancaster Classic, I'm actually recording this from Lancaster, UK as well, round at the missus' house and somewhere. So yeah, we've got two Lancasters going.
Yep, we do. In the Pennsylvania, they actually pronounce it Lancaster, opposed to how it's actually spelled. So they like the I where the A is at the beginning. Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
There we are. I'm getting some facts thrown at us now.
Yes. And sorry, Nye, did you answer your question for your dream guest? If it could be anyone in the archery community?
I think for me it's someone that both Neil and myself know really well. It'd be Philip Taylor from Rochdale. Just because he's a good friend. He's a good friend of mine, and I think a friend of Neil's as well. And I just know that the three of us, I just feel like we gel really well and it'd just be, because we all know each other well, we have similar humour. I think we'd really gel well together for an episode. So I think for me, that it'd be Philip just for that gelling, that element of I know we'd all gel to make something really good.
That'll be a fun episode to edit.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to.
My swearing mostly.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you.
I've gone without swearing.
Doing well.
This kind of leads into my next question. Being honest, who between the two of you is most likely to go off topic?
Nye.
Me.
100%.
Yes. Yeah, me.
And
I've always got some story about something that happened in such a place 20 years ago, indirectly relates to that as well.
The funny thing is, I can follow his train of thought, so I don't try and drag him back. I just follow him.
Right. And in that same vein, if there was one question you could ask each other, what would it be?
I think I know what I'd ask Neil right away. How the hell do you manage it all, mate? You've got all these bits, different things you're doing. You're judging, you're coaching, podcasting, ambassador work, and now the postal league that you're taking on as well. How the hell do you manage it, mate? That's what I'd ask.
Would you like to answer?
No, I don't have a TARDIS, sadly. I think that is one of the perks of being neurodivergent is most people that wouldn't be able to kind of juggle that much stuff, whereas me, it's the only thing that kind of keeps me going. So yeah, good question, Nye. I don't know is the answer. However, it just all seems to come together sometimes. Yeah,
because you do a good job.
I think it's just managing your time.
Yeah, you do a good job of it all as well.
Neil, do you have a question?
Big tasks. I don't.
Right.
Actually, yes, I do. Nye, when are you getting a new microphone?
As soon as you tell me one that I should get.
I've told you 6 times which one to get.
but more importantly, what new competitor to go for.
What else would you like your audience to know about Unstrung Archery or the two of you? Any upcoming tournaments that you're going to be at, or anything you're looking up forward, or anything you're looking forward to? What else would you like to share about your podcast?
So, as you probably all know, Nye originally ran the NBA Postal League, which he stepped down from, was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, last indoor season I'd stepped down. It was my indoor season before last was my last one.
Yeah, so I loved how Nye ran that, and it was a bit sad, and we had quite a few comments from club members, and it was being discussed at tournaments that, you know, we kind of missed the NBA league and it should be brought back. And I just went, we can bring it back under the Unstrung Archery brand, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're bringing back the NBA Postal League as Unstrung Archery Postal League, which will be launching, well, by the time this episode comes out, it'll have already launched on the 1st of November. So start getting your Portsmouth scores together, people, and get them over to us. Also, hopefully by that point, our new website should be live as well, which will have all the details on the podcast and the Postal League on there as well.
Can you share your website URL for that for everyone?
Yes, it'll be www.unstrungarchery.co.uk.
And for new listeners, where can they find Unstrung Archery? Socials, where your platforms, wherever you would like to share.
So we're on Facebook, so you can search for Unstrung Archery on there. We are at Unstrung Archery on Instagram. We're probably going to be setting up a TikTok at some point as well.
Are we?
Yes.
Surprise!
That's on me, mate. I haven't got a sales team.
Surprise, Nye!
Please don't tell me I have to do those dances. Yes. People don't want to see, the good people listening don't want to see that.
No, there will be no dancing. It'll all be about archery.
You have a wonderful community on Discord as well. A community indeed that you're building.
That one's going a little bit slower than I'd like. So, yeah, obviously, I mentioned at the end of every episode about the Discord. We are starting to get people in, so we are going to start using it. You can find ways that you can support the podcast through there as well. So we are obviously trying to make the community bigger. We have got all of our previous guests are in here as well. So if you want to come and ask them questions, you can do. It's a great way to get to know them a little better as well.
A great resource for sure. So I wanted to thank the two of you. If there's anything else you'd like to share, I wanted to thank you for this opportunity to be guest host of Unstrung Archery, to meet you both and ask you questions and learn about the show and what's coming ahead in 2025, and especially the Unstrung Postal Series. That's going to be very exciting. I hope everyone joins in.
I am very much looking forward to that.
I wanted to thank you both for letting me do this.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you for coming on and doing it for us. It's
thank you,
been a pleasure.
But I suppose should we give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit before we wrap the episode? Should we let Manisha give you a chance to tell us about your upcoming work on the Archery Parent Podcast as well?
Oh, you mean where Ella Gibson is? Yes.
Oh, yeah. And also because people listening to us and they'll get to know you now, so it'd be really good for them to, because obviously if you enjoyed listening to us, you're going to enjoy your work as well.
Thank you. So I am the host and producer of the Archery Parent Podcast. What archery parents need to know to best support their archer. And as we all know, archery is not the most common sport here in North America. It's so easy to find a baseball field or a soccer field, but finding an archery range is far and few between. So there isn't a lot of resource and there aren't a lot of real communities here because Canada is so spread out. And so the Archery Parent Podcast is here to help parents navigate through the community that their archer, usually a child or a young adult, has fallen in love with. So there isn't a lot of information sharing, and I wanted to change that. My son is on the Canadian national team, and we have gone from beginner, learning all the different things I had to learn about, just to have a good conversation with him and to learn about archery. So I'm trying to give parents tips and tricks of how to get to their first tournament. Very, very often a parent is told, okay, there's a tournament this weekend, be here at this time. They're not told what to bring. All they know is their archer has to have their bow. That's it. From a parent's perspective, they don't know how long they're going to be there. They don't know how long this whole thing is going to be. You have to be there about an hour ahead of time. Nobody's going to tell them that. So what happens when you even get to a tournament? So these are all the tips that I share. Some of the little videos I've done are how to waterproof your 10 by 10 tent. Why is a wagon really, really important? Why is the parking lot always so far from the field? These are things that we talk about. I learned what a bacon butty is. Yeah, I learned what a bacon butty is, and our similar thing would be a sausage on a hot dog, I guess. So why is tournament fare the type of tournament fare that it is? That kind of thing. Why is it always sausages? And in North America, why are Bon Jovi songs always played? I don't know. These are things we're going to talk about. And not only just Canada, but we're focusing in on the US because we travel into the US quite extensively, probably sometimes 6 times a year for different tournaments. So I can share things like, how do you cross the Canadian-US border when you're carrying archery equipment? There are some people that think, I'm going to tell them that it's a weapon. No, not ideal. So the Archery Parent Podcast is for parents, and it's just to help them get through this sport that is constantly changing. As a parent with someone new into archery, they very quickly realize that the bow that they used, especially if their archer is going through a growth spurt, they can't use the same bow. They can't use the same arrows. So I kind of give them the heads up on all of this, that kind of thing. So that's what it's all about. And we will be releasing episodes November, just waiting for all the podcast platforms to pick it up, and then we'll get started.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very nice.
Neil, can you just explain what is your role as an ambassador?
So for me, the Archery GB Ambassador Program basically takes in every 2 years new ambassadors to kind of promote the sport, bring new ideas in. So for me, what I do is I go around local schools and bring like soft archery kits if it's like the younger ones, or we're trying to organise for the high schools and stuff like that to get the pointy sticks out. So it is just getting out in the local community, into like scouting, into the schools, and just making archery more forefront, because most people will know about football, they'll know about rugby, especially around our area at least anyway. But most people don't realise that archery is a thing that you can just pick up and run with, basically. Well, don't run with arrows.
Don't run with.
I mean it figuratively, not literally. But yeah, that's my goal as an ambassador is to get archery seen by more people. And I think with the Olympics recently as well, it does kind of help my goal, because people do tend to watch the archery when it comes to the Olympics, and just making that a little bit more upfront and accessible to them.
That's great. And if someone wanted to become an ambassador, how would they do that? What was the process that you took?
So the Archery GP will actually, when the program comes to an end for our term, which I think we're about, to be fair, it took a while for our term to actually start officially. So I've been getting into the program for probably about 18 months. It started officially back in February, I think. So our term will end in February 2026. Doesn't mean that we're going to stop doing the work that we do as ambassadors. It just means that the next cohort of ambassadors will come on that with fresher ideas, and it's likely that we'll become mentors to them. So keep an eye on the Archery GB website around this probably end of 2025, and they'll start announcing it. There's forms that you can fill in to register your interest, and then the Archery GB team will get in touch, and that's basically all she wrote.
That's very exciting. That's a great program to like mentorship, but also just to meet an archer. I know when I say, oh, my son is an archer. Oh, really? I took archery in high school, or, oh, I love that. Or I watched it on the Olympics. It really centers it and in a very specific way by you going into these schools and into various communities and really, and bringing the reality of it and the accessibility of it. That's a great program. We don't actually have anything like that, but I think we were trying in Canada.
Obviously, thank you again to Manisha for coming on and giving us a really good interview, and really enjoyed the conversation. I'm looking forward to listening to your work and collaborating further going forwards. And now it comes to the time of the podcast where I have the Unsung section, where we give a shout out to people who don't necessarily, we think like, we'll want to give them some more appreciation. So I'm going to start off with a couple of archers who really looked after me when I was at Whitburn 2.4K Challenge. For anyone who's not been there before, it's a double feature 18 on the Saturday, a double feature 18 on the Sunday. And when you've been shooting triple spots all for 2 days straight, it's pretty tiring. Now, I had equipment failure, so my arrest completely broke, and I was on the verge of having to withdraw because I was an idiot. I hadn't got a spare at the time, which I only found out when it had broken. But fortunately, shout out to Matthew David from, I think it's West Pennine Archers, or Pennine Archers. Apologies for that part, but he saved my bacon and gave me a rest to allow me to finish the shootout. And also to everyone across the area, everyone, basically the whole rallied round and helped me through it, so I was able to finish the shoot. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Matthew and to everyone else as well.
Okay, so for me this month, I'm going to have to give a shout out to our equipment officer, who has only just recently come on. He has avoided being a committee member for as long as I can remember. We finally managed to twist his arm into taking over as equipment officer. He's had some fantastic ideas for the club, getting more people gear, and he's really helping making archery more accessible in our area. So I want to say a big thank you to Mike Horsfield, who hopefully at some point will have his son on the show at one point. We have actually featured him in the JS episode. Yes, so Matthew has been on the show before, but we haven't actually had a chance to get Mike on. So fingers crossed we can get him on the show at some point.
Thanks, Mike, for coming on. I'm gonna twist your arm as well, mate.
So yes, Mike, thank you for everything that you've done for the club, for archery, and obviously one of my main goals as an ambassador is making it more accessible, so you're making that a hell of a lot easier for me. Thank you.
I guess my unsung, there are a lot of people that, I guess it goes out to all tournament directors. and the DOS, the directors of shooting. People don't realize what goes into organizing a tournament. And it isn't just an overnight thing. It's not just a few days ahead, even if it is a club shoot that runs regularly. Tournament directors, they're always thinking of how to make it better, how to bring more people in, how to make the food memorable so people will come back. And they're always thinking. And the ultimate thing is risk management. So what can be done to make sure that everybody is safe? And yes, archery is a safe sport. Weird things happen. And how can we make this tournament better? And so many times people don't even say thank you. And it's such they are the unsung heroes of the sport. No matter what level, if it's regional, if it's club, if it's national, or world events for those people putting on those tournaments, my kudos goes out to tournament directors and the directors of shooting who make those days go. So that's who I say thank you for everything that you do. And really, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be the performance athletes. There wouldn't be this integration of people brand new into the sport. And you play such a huge role that cannot be said more about.
Thank you, Manisha.
Could have said it better myself.
Yeah, that's exactly what what Neil said as well. Thank you, Manisha.
Thank you to Nye and Neil for letting me guest host Unstrung Archery for this episode for the year in review. And much luck and much podcast pixie dust for you going forward. Thanks so much. The Archery Parent Podcast can be found on Instagram at Archery Parent Podcast, Facebook, Archery Parent Podcast, and our website, where you can also find episodes on our website, but also on your favorite podcast platforms, is www.archeryparentpodcast.ca. Just to say that we are Canadian, but we do talk about archery in the US and abroad. So archeryparentpodcast.ca is our website, and we have our episodes on there as well.
So that concludes this special takeover episode. I want to say a big thank you to Manisha for coming on the show and giving us a great insight to how the show operates and what we've got coming up in the future. And for the rest of you, stay safe, keep those arrows straight, and we will see you in the next one. Before we sign off, we want to hear from you guys, our amazing listeners. If you have any questions, stories, or insights you'd like to share, we'd love to feature your voice on our next episode. Just hit that recording button on your phone or computer and send your voice clip to us. You could be part of the conversation. Plus, we are building a vibrant archery community on our Discord server. It's the perfect place to connect with fellow archers, share your experiences, and stay updated on all things Unstrung Archery. You'll find the links to both our voice submission platform and our Discord server on our link tree or in the episode description below. Your voice matters, and we can't wait to have you join the discussion. Until next time, keep those questions coming and stay safe in your archery journey.